this out.
Hey everybody, I'm Jiles and this is JDM World. Welcome to Jiles Journey episode 7. In this episode, we're going to start getting into some subwoofer stuff. So we're going to take a look at the Starke Sound Sub35. We'll talk about all the specs here in a little bit, but to start, I want to talk a little bit about where we are in the theater build. So today, we've got all 7 of our bed channels in place, but the decision's been made to add another 2 channels on the bottom and go to 9 channels on the floor. Now up in the ceiling, I'm still running those 4 original Atmos speakers, and they're lower quality. They can't keep up at all with what I've got on the ground right now. So those are going to be upgraded to in the near future, which will then require an amplifier upgrade. But the decision that I'm going through right now is, do I go 4 or 6 Atmos channels? Now, the limiter really is the pre-pro that I use, and I'm currently researching which unit I want to integrate with the system to show to you guys that will really take everything to the next level. So that'll be another step forward. Anyway, but today, let's talk about subwoofers, and in particular, like I said, the Starke Sound Sub35. So let's hop over, I'll put up some footage of what the box looks like and talk through the specs. Later on, we're gonna do some in-room measurement with REW so you can kind of see what that looks like, and I'll even put it up against a humongous 18-inch full Marty, just so you can kind of see the disparity between the two and how the two might be able to work together at some point, and then we'll take some footage of everything in the room and let you see what that looks like. So super exciting, let's get started.
Now let's take a look at the Sub35. First, we'll pull this thing out of the box, and the packing material is pretty straightforward, double boxed, but once you get inside, it's got a cool little cover that protects it during shipping, and it gives it a nice feeling of a luxurious product when you're unboxing. But the packaging is not the sub is a sub, and this is it. And first off, you'll notice that it's very, very attractive. This is a good looking sub. But to get into a few of the specs real quick, so this has got an active 12-inch driver, 2 passive radiators that are carbon fiber sandwich cone. The amplification is 1,000 watts RMS Class H, and it bursts up to 3,200 watts at its max. So this thing puts out quite a bit of juice. On the back, you're going to have a volume, you're going to have your crossover and phase, which are very nice. You'll have a EQ, which is flat or punchy. I really just set it in the middle. I don't know what that curve really looks like, but it is there and available. But the connections are kind of nice, right? So it's got balanced in and out, so you can daisy chain these. You can put these in line with your mids and highs. So this is, you know, a speaker that is designed to be used in home theater, but you can also use this in with your 2-channel setup. Now, as we get ready to measure these, this is what I've got going on in the room. Just a quick look, and there's the sub there in the corner. And then these are the 2 subs that I'll be also comparing against and comparing with. Okay, I got REW fired up, and I've taken some measurements of the subs in my home theater. If you're not familiar with REW, on the left-hand side here, this shows the decibel level of the sound, starting out here at 50 decibels, going up to 125, so quieter to louder. And then across the bottom, we have the frequency, and that starts at 10 hertz, all the way over here in the bottom left, going over to 150 in the right. And the idea is that right here at 80, this is where most people are going to be crossing over, somewhere in that range, right? So what we're really looking for is everything down to this 10 hertz. Now, this is a near cone measurement on the Sub35. It's not bad. There's a hump here at what is this? 25 hertz. But other than that, it's not too bad. If you EQ down everything about 5 decibels, you'd have a pretty flat frequency response all the way down to under 20, right? I mean, the real roll-off kicks in here at about 17 hertz. Well, I guess the roll-off is up here, but I would really EQ that down a little bit. So, you're somewhere in 17-ish hertz where you're kind of midline along this decibel measurement. So that's the subwoofer with the microphone like 3 inches from the cone. And remember, this is also a dual passive radiator, so this is right in front of the active cone. So, the measurement's it's not perfect, but this is kind of an idea what you're looking at. Now, I put this in the front left of my theater, which you would have seen before in the video that you just took a look at of the setup. And that's what this green line looks like. Now, this also has the microphone at the main listening position. So this is much more of what you could expect in a room. So this is, impacted by the room. Also with the microphone, about 9 feet away from the speaker itself. Now, just to compare to the cone, the near cone measurement, obviously you can see you lose a lot of volume due to that distance. And that's something everyone needs to take into account when you're thinking about your subs. The farther you are away from them, the quieter they appear to you, to your hearing. So, but not a huge amount of room impact going on. Some impact here around the 75 hertz, and then things get really squirrely, once you start getting up around to 100. But you got to remember you'll be crossed over at that point, so that's not as important, especially from this point of view, since this is sub only. So pretty flat, not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the near cone, and this is what we're looking at. And here, 20 hertz, things take a huge nosedive. But then if you think about, this like at the 85 level here, where you might EQ this stuff down and try and EQ this up a little bit and then EQ this down, then you'd really be falling off here at 18 hertz. And for a single active 12, that's not bad. I mean, this thing was putting out some volume. Now, let's go ahead and compare this with my existing dual full Marty 18s. Now, I've got everything set at a 16 hertz Butterworth 12 decibel high pass filter. So that's helping control all that cone excursion when you get way down here. So that's gonna also impact these curves and make things roll off a little bit more steeply. But I like to measure, with what I've got going on in the room, because this is kind of real world. All right, now dual 18s. All right, this is what this is looking like, and obviously is way flatter all the way down to 10 hertz, and they keep on going down even with that 16 decibel crossover in place. Now, where they're placed at in the room behind my sofa, these are near field behind the sofa. This 85.3 hertz, this is all room induced, and the room just kills it right here. And these subs aren't all that bad, because these are not tuned in any way at this point. So this is kind of a raw measurement. Now, when you stick these two subs and add in the sub 35 in the front of the room for 3 total subwoofers, you're gonna look like this. So, you can see that you're getting extra oomph up here, anywhere from, I guess, starting at 17 hertz all the way up to 38, where things get a lot closer. And then there's some bad interaction here at 74. Let's bring back up what they were doing there. So yeah, you can see where they dip down, and that's impacting the 18. So let's turn that back off. And then we'll go ahead and turn off the duals by themselves. And that's the curve. So without time alignment, and some delay absolutely needs to be added to the 18, since they're closer by a good 6 feet than that 12. And if we manage that and a little bit of EQ, and I think we could easily get this stuff within 5 decibels of variance all the way down to 10 hertz. So if you look at it, if we shot for like that line, maybe put it right here, right? We could EQ this stuff down, try and give a little bit of boost right here, maybe, and then EQ all this down, and then try and figure out this problem. Maybe with time alignment, some of this stuff goes away, but we would be looking at an extremely flat curve. We might even be able to get this thing within 3 decibels all the way down to 10 hertz, which is amazing. But if I can have a 5 decibel variance, meaning that this curve stays between the 2 horizontal lines, so it would come across somewhere and just stay here until we got up to 80, and then after that, it does whatever. That would be awesome. But this is kind of what we're looking like from a REW point of view. And one more time for that sub in a realistic position in the room, this is what you're looking like with the Sub 35. Now that you've got the basics down around the Sub 35, let's talk a little bit about the future of the room. So as you can see, as we're panning through, I'm going to stop and talk about a couple of things. So first off is the center channel. So as you can see, the stand that it's on is a non-stand. I mean, it's horrible. Some lumber I had in the garage. And anyway, I'm going to have a custom stand built for this, and that should be in a month or so. I've got a buddy, and he's going to create one that's a super short stubby stand that will get my humongous center channel low enough but tilted up just a little bit so it'll fit in my room well. Next, let's talk about adding channels 8 and 9. I need something that doesn't mount on the wall, something that can be stand mounted or a tower, and I think the Starke Sound ICH3s are going to be perfect here. And you know, while we're talking about Starke Sound, they have a new way that you can purchase their equipment that's really cool. They have a new master distributor website, and I'm going to post that so you can see that here, see what it looks like on their landing page. But I would urge everybody to go check that out because you can see all the pricing, you can negotiate deals. It's pretty slick.
So, in closing about the Sub 35 from Starke Sound, I want to talk a little bit about how I feel about it when I listen to it. So, it's a 12-inch driver with two 12-inch passive radiators, so it's not going to rock the world. It's not going to bring your walls down. It's not like having 18 18s that are just pounding out 150 decibels of sound, right? But what I really like about it is the way that it sounds. So the passive radiators make the low lows that it plays sound really full and rich and strong. So while this isn't the loudest subwoofer that's out there, it sounds really, really good. It's nice and articulate. It's got plenty of power, so it's very, very dynamic. And you know, while it's good in home theater, I think it really excels if you wanted to take this and maybe take two of these and put into a 2-channel environment and put one left and right, as you see some audiophile folks do. I think it produces a really, really good sound for that. Now, if you're going to do this for home theater, you'll absolutely probably want more than one. I was going to say I absolutely would want more than one, but two of these I think would have most anybody that's not looking for, you know, some type of super duper crazy environment. It'll leave them very satisfied. So all in all, a very strong subwoofer that's very competent at what it does, that sounds amazing and has a richness and fullness at the bottom end that I think you would be very, very surprised about. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for listening through with all of the thoughts and ideas that I have for the future state of the home theater. I would urge everybody to go check out the new Starke Sound site. It's super cool, and it'll give you insight into the equipment that they sell that you might not be familiar with at all. If you've liked this video, please, as always, like, subscribe, maybe subscribe 3 times, and share with all your friends so that they too can go on the journey.